Welcome! Get ready, because we're about to journey back in time to uncover the secrets of one of Southern Africa's very first great kingdoms. In this study guide, we are going to explore the incredible rise and the mysterious fall of the society of Mapungubwe, getting you totally prepped for anything your exam might throw at you.
So, here's our game plan. We'll start at the very beginning, with how power emerged in the Limpopo Valley. Then we'll visit its first towns, climb to the sacred capital, trace its amazing global trade routes, and finally, really understand its lasting legacy. Trust me, by the end of this, you'll be more than ready for that exam.
All right, let's dive right in. Our story kicks off around the year 900 AD in the beautiful Limpopo Valley. Now, this was a time of incredible change, a time when the seeds of a brand new, powerful, and complex society were just starting to be planted.
This is such a great question because, it gets right to the very heart of how kingdoms are actually born. It wasn't just about surviving anymore. It was all about structure, about wealth, and about influence. So, here's the deal. A new social ladder started to form. Think about it this way. At the bottom, your wealth was about what you owned, things like cattle and land. But real power, the kind of power that builds kingdoms, that came from controlling the trade of super valuable stuff like gold and ivory. The more of that trade you controlled, the higher you climbed. Simple as that.
Exactly. And once these leaders rose to the top, they weren't just sitting around counting their riches. No, they had really important jobs to do for their people, and their authority was backed up by a pretty powerful set of beliefs.
This breaks it down perfectly. The king managed the land, he oversaw the whole economy through taxes, and he provided security with an army. But his ultimate power, his real authority, came from something else entirely. It was seen as a divine right, passed down from the heavens from father to son, through his ancestral line.
Okay, let's move on to the next chapter of this incredible story. We're going to see how this growing society built its very first towns. These places, Schroda and K2, they tell a fascinating story about how a society can evolve. Now, this is a super important comparison, so you'll want to pay close attention. By looking at these two towns side by side, we can basically pinpoint the exact moment this society switched from being pretty much equal to one with really clear social classes.
What's so interesting here is just how different these two places were. On the one hand, you have Schroda, where life was communal. Everybody shared the wealth. But then, you look over at K2, and things have totally changed. The leaders started keeping the most valuable goods, like these cool imported beads, all for themselves. This was the very beginning of a ruling class.
As the population at K2 grew and grew, it became obvious they needed a new, grander capital. This is what led them to a place that would become absolutely legendary, Mapungubwe Hill. You see, the move wasn't just about needing more elbow room. The choice of this specific hill was a really powerful, strategic, and spiritual statement that would define the kingdom for the next 100 years.
So yeah, the practical reason was just overcrowding at K2, but the symbolic reason? That was huge. The hill was considered sacred, a direct link to their ancestors. And by moving the royal court to the very top, the king sent a powerful visual message. He was physically and spiritually above everyone else, closer to the heavens and to the ancestors.
Now, don't think for a second that Mapungubwe was some isolated kingdom in the middle of nowhere. No way. It was a bustling, thriving center of international trade. It was a major player on the world stage, connected to continents thousands of miles away.
The archaeological evidence that's been found here is just staggering. It reveals a super sophisticated society with trade connections that stretched all the way to Asia and the Middle East. So what exactly were they trading?
Just look at this trade network. From Southern Africa, they were exporting all these precious raw materials. We're talking gold, ivory, iron. And what did they get in return? All these amazing luxury goods from across the world. Glass beads from India, beautiful ceramics from China, and fancy textiles from Persia. This was not a small-time operation. This was a massive international business.
So, on top of being really smart traders, the people of Mapungubwe were also incredible artists and metalworkers. And there's one artifact in particular that has become this iconic symbol of their unbelievable skill.
And there it is, the golden rhinoceros. It's a delicate little sculpture, carefully crafted from gold foil and tacked onto a wooden core. But this is so much more than just a pretty object. It's absolute proof of their mastery as goldsmiths and a powerful symbol of royal wealth and power.
But, like all great civilizations, the golden age of Mapungubwe couldn't last forever. So, now let's explore why this incredible kingdom was eventually abandoned and what powerful legacy it left behind for all of us.
This last chapter is just so important because it connects this ancient history directly to our world today. It holds a timeless lesson about the forces that can bring even the most powerful societies to an end.
The main takeaway here is really the two sides of its story. On one side, Mapungubwe's legacy is so important that South Africa's highest civilian honor is named right after it. But on the other side, its collapse was caused by something we're still dealing with today: climate change. The weather got too dry for farming, and the people used up all their natural resources. It's a pretty powerful warning from history, isn't it?
All right, you have absorbed a ton of information. Now it's time for a quick-fire review to make sure all those key facts are locked in tight. I'm going to read a statement, and you decide if it's true or false. Ready?
Okay, let's see how you did. First up, at Schroda, leaders kept all the wealth for themselves. That is false. Remember, wealth was shared at Schroda. The leaders started hoarding it at K2. Next, Mapungubwe was South Africa's first major town. That one is true. It's considered the first major kingdom in the region. The science question: arrows in a food web show the flow of energy. That's also true. And finally, archaeologists use written diaries to study Mapungubwe. This is false. They didn't have a writing system, so all our knowledge comes from studying amazing artifacts.
And that wraps up our journey into the incredible kingdom of Mapungubwe. As you get ready for your exam, I just want to leave you with this one final thought. The story of a great society that disappeared when its environment couldn't support it anymore, well, that's more than just history. It's a powerful lesson, reminding us all that our own future is directly tied to the health of our planet. Good luck.